Hello, friends and family from around the world. This is Mike with Morning Dew, daily events worldwide, and we are on November 9th, 2021. Welcome to another surviving day on the planet, and welcome to the Daily Dew, giving you an update on space weather, world weather, earthquakes, and volcanoes, keeping humanity aware and prepared. Checking out here the last 48 hours, Solar Dynamics Observatory imagery. And if you have a look at the timestamp there on the bottom, there is nothing after November 9th at 2400 hours. So that's pretty much midnight and forward, not getting images. So we'll have to keep you updated on that. So we're looking at last 48 hours before midnight, not including today's imagery. So our solar flare, M-class solar flare, is not on there. But we are observing two pretty active sunspot regions cresting in, and as well some pretty large plasma filaments on both the northeast and northwest parts of the outgoing sun. Pretty large plasma tornado on the left-hand side. You can get a better look at it on the multi-spectrum. Having a closer look here at the two active sunspots that are coming into an Earth-facing position. The M-class flare that I was talking about was not in an Earth-directed position. And as I said earlier, we're missing images from Solar Dynamics Observatory pretty much from midnight and up until now. But there's this plasma tornado that I was talking about. That thing is about 3 Earths tall when you look at a size comparison. And as well, southern region, southern hemisphere coronal hole in an Earth-facing position right now. Other than that, nothing major. We did get hit with X-ray background here. Solar flux absorption showing a big flash over South America. Large pulse right over Chile, Peru. Some radio blackouts and interference may have been detected today during the M-class solar flare. And looking at the aurora forecast for tonight over North America and as well Russia. Looking at a minor geomagnetic storm definitely coming through parts of Canada, Manitoba, Saskatchewan. And right now you can see our solar X-ray flux is elevated up into the M-class range. Solar proton flux elevated as well, close to S1. KP index of just about 4. Our real-time solar wind is sitting at about 387 kilometers per second after being upwards over 400 about 3 days ago. We saw very elevated solar winds with those X-class, M-class solar flares, and just recently we had another M-class solar flare, but luckily not in an Earth-directed position. Looking at LASCO 2 and 3 imagery here of the sun, and you can see a large blast coming off the right side there. That is the M-class solar flare. So LASCO 2 is producing images after midnight here today, but Solar Dynamics Observatory is not. So luckily we were able to see this M flare heading away from our sun, or away from us in an outgoing position on our sun. Very bright sunspot region coming off the backside. You can see it on the left cresting right there. And we'll slow that down for you and show you one more time. Looking at the ISPOAS space prediction spiral, you can see very large event directed right at Mercury and as well the Bepi satellite. A little show here, the yellow circle is Earth, and as well everybody else is labeled in here, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and as well major satellites through the region. Our Schumann resonance for today, a power of 8, very low frequency vibration today, quality of 11.3, and an amplitude of 8. Earthquakes for today, the last 24 hours. It's been somewhat busy, especially through Central America. Nicaragua seeing a large 5.8 ring off early this morning, but it was also followed by a 6.2. So Masachapa, Nicaragua, seeing a 5.8, 4.8, 6.2, and a 5.7. And resonating even over into Colombia here, a 4.3 at 142 kilometer depth. Pretty quiet through South America. One 4.1 earthquake here to report in Chile, 103 kilometer depth. Eerily quiet through these regions. And as well, African plate, not too much to report. Indian plate, did see a 4.4 here. Afghanistan, and right up into the Indian plate, just seeing minor activity here. 4.3 in Fek, India. Quiet through Philippines plate as well. Japan, 4.8 here in Hualien City, Taiwan, 27 kilometer depth. Philippines seeing minor earthquakes. So the biggest action was today in Nicaragua. Very eerily quiet through the Kermadec, Fiji, Western Indian Antarctic Ridge, seeing a 4.6. 3.2, largest to report here, Pahala, Hawaii. Minor activity going through Alaska as well. Kind of a hum with all of the minor earthquakes. And nothing major to report here over the United States. Largest earthquake today was a 3.0. One here in Gypsum, Kansas, as well a 2.6 here in Missouri that was reported yesterday. Minor earthquakes to report. Nonetheless, nothing major and no warnings for the area. But definitely watching West Coast into Washington and the Juan de Fuca Plate. As we've seen a lot of activity here looking at Earthquakes Canada, right off the coast into Port Hardy. 3.6 there, just reported now, but there's been many all along the coast here, as you can see, right along the Juan de Fuca Plate. So most of the activity is moving northwards and into Alaska now. So heads up, Cascades. That is the last 24 hours for earthquakes. Have a quick browse at the last 7 days across the world. As I said, a lot of minor activity, and that has been constant throughout the week. No major earthquakes to report in the United States. And our largest earthquake of the last 7 days has been the 6.2 just today in Nicaragua. Quiet through Fiji, but a lot of deep earthquakes. Deep earthquakes as well through Chile. The most action here that we've seen is today. USGS reporting about 220 earthquakes the last 24 hours across the USGS map, not including La Palma, China. Have a quick look here at the Pacific Disaster Center showing the most recent volcanoes getting updated. Reventador in Ecuador, La Palma in Spain, Sabancaya in Peru, Fuego, Guatemala, Karaminsky, Russia, Sangay in Ecuador, Nevadas de Ruiz, Colombia, Cadavor, Papua New Guinea, Nevadas de Chilean in Chile, Swiss Najima, Japan, Ibu, Indonesia. And that's about 12 volcanoes getting updated just today. Quiet day for volcanoes. We're still sitting at about 48 volcanoes that are active and erupting across the world. 2 tropical depressions to talk about, Sandra and Terry. But both are not expected to turn into major storms. Major storms that still continue here will be in through Washington and northwestern parts of the United States up into BC as these systems are racing in. Looking at satellite imagery here, pretty big system, tightly whipped. So watch for strong winds. And as well, look through windy.com showing the next 7 days for wind models through the Atlantic. Some big systems moving through there. And as well, I'm going to be showing you here the next 10 days for the snow forecast as we have a big winter system developing. And through pretty much Saskatchewan and eastward through Quebec, the Atlantic provinces, we'll be seeing a dusting of snow. Some areas could receive a foot. Even down through northeastern United States, higher elevations could see upwards of 20 centimeters in some areas. Have a quick look at the 5-day forecast brought to you by MeteorEarth and daily events worldwide. Starting out here, home base, Ontario, Canada, where, we're going to enjoy it. But one more day of nice weather here, maybe two, before this big nor'easter comes in. Alberta Clipper moving eastward, and as well a Colorado low developing. They're going to join forces here for a nor'easter, and as well watch another low pressure system come out of the Hudson Bay, and watch all these cold temperatures drop as that system moves eastward. Big high pressure ridge through parts of Yellowknife, Northwest Territories. Cold temperatures will be swinging through, and a Chinook moving in for parts of Alberta, where overnight they'll see minus double digits and then warm up to double digits. Sometimes in Alberta they can see a 20-degree temperature change in a matter of minutes. Big systems heading into BC there. 5-day forecast showing a lot of rain and snow. And you could see another Atlantic system here forming for parts of the Atlantic provinces, Canada. Big low heading into parts of Iceland and Greenland. But that nor'easter is definitely going to leave a mark across northeastern United States and parts of eastern Canada. Low pressure system still grinding here west of Italy through the Mediterranean. Watch another low coming out of the United Kingdom to join. Bring about a day's rain there through the United Kingdom. Overlooking Russia. Colder temperatures really starting to move in. Big high pressure ridge escaped from the North Pole. Minus 35 without the wind chill in some areas. Not too much snow just yet. Most of it is through northern China and as well Kamchatka. Overlooking Southeast Asia, no major systems affecting you except for parts of India here. Big low pressure system heading into Sri Lanka, and that'll race across India and fade out. But it looks like there's another low pressure system that gets wrapped up in there, and they start to dance around India and most likely will head westward again or into this Indian Ocean. Daily evaporation rains across most of Malaysia and Indonesia. And then we get to Australia, down under, where we have an extreme weather event coming your way pretty much from now, Wednesday, up until Saturday when this system finally moves out. You could see some flash floods in many areas across eastern parts of Australia, southeastern, down into Victoria, Sydney, Brisbane. Definitely going to see some extreme weather. New Zealand, you're going to see these systems right afterwards, and then another one in the long range. So gray days ahead of you for New Zealand, and stormy conditions heading to Australia, mark my word. Looking here at the forecast for tropical systems, they're going to fade out. Then we get to South America, and we have quite a system developing in the long range here, parts of Argentina. We could get a wave cyclone from this long line of moisture. Definitely going to see some extreme weather, strong winds, and potentially dangerous hail. Some really warm temperatures ahead of this, and that's where we will get that extreme weather right over Chile, Argentina and Chile. Africa, no major weather changes coming to you over the next 5 days. Not much has changed since the last forecast. Gonna leave you here looking at the southern hemisphere versus the northern, pointing out the major systems that are spinning across our hemispheres today and for the next 5 days. Much love to everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Stay aware and prepared. Stay young and have fun. And get your morning dew. Bye-bye now. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends and family from across the world.